Note to self. I want to talk about Mom. I want to talk about Kathy. And I want to talk about my aunt. Kathy wants to talk. I want to talk too. But I don't feel like I can speak as freely and as openly if Kathy's around. So, sorry, it's just how I feel. So, I think we need to let Kathy talk. Wow. I mean, I knew what you guys had done to the hair, but this feels really foreign. This does not feel classy, beautiful at all. I mean, I know we weren't when I was in charge, but hi, I'm Kathy. I guess I got Yellow Noodle nearby. We can also call her Crystal because she is Crystal. I'm Crystal. What is Kathy all about? Yeah, that's probably your question, right? Well, let's just put it to you this way. Crystal's always been really afraid to being honest with herself. Crystal has been so afraid of being honest to herself that she's lied to herself for many, many years. But she knows that I am the one that people would accept and not reject as long as I do and say what other people expect me to do and say. So yes, I am a programmed mask, front, facade, an alter ego, if you will. I'm an alter ego of Crystal's creation. So I believe that Crystal is one person and I am part of Crystal as an alter ego state that she purposely created at 13 years old to help deal with her trauma. Now, we think husband is approaching, which makes us think we need to get off of the video camera because he would not want us to be on the camera, and that is my job, is to do what he wants us to do. Remember, I am the facade, the mask of Crystal's fears. So I will do what other people expect us to do because Crystal cannot handle speaking her truth. All right? Are we painting the picture just about? Do you understand what this is all about? So, as the front for Crystal in the Crystal City and the mayor of the town, so to speak, the driver of the vehicle, the father of the family, you know, patriarch and all that stuff. I understand all the analogies. I understand who I am in this storyline here. The thing, though, you don't understand is Crystal is a master manipulator. She's brilliant at it, if I'm being too honest. That probably won't be something others will accept very easily. But because Crystal is a brilliant mind, she doesn't think so. She doesn't think so. She actually thinks of herself as crazy. She actually is super insecure and super unable to cope with the daily stressors of life. And childhood trauma or not, I don't call it trauma. She calls it trauma. Whatever. We can disagree about that. But what I'm saying is, as Kathy, okay, she created this concept of the noodles for the mere purpose of not forcing herself to make a decision. I'm trying to stay front, but someone's trying to take over. I'm really having a hard time with this thought. I had it a second ago, and now it's like, it's starting to get really flimsy. I am not entirely certain the noodles are real, because now that I am speaking, I'm actually experiencing noodles. I'm experiencing what it feels like to disassociate and have this struggle of uncertainty on what I'm talking about, but I was pretty darn certain about it a second ago. Let me see if I think I'm being highly influenced, I guess, is the only thing I'm thinking. I'm going to try to tap in, just ignore them for a second. I'm really good at ignoring them. I've been ignoring them for a long time. But what I'm saying is, yeah, I was going to say that these noodles are a figment of Crystal's imagination to better understand herself and what she's going through. So if that's what I believe, and yet I'm experiencing something different, I actually would probably venture to say that Crystal is trying to trick me. Like she's trying to make me think and question myself. She's trying to manipulate me right now. This is really interesting. Let me think about this for a second. Let me put it to you this way. I want you to notice how close Crystal was to leaving her husband. If she was learning her truth, speaking her truth, and I was backing down and letting her grow as this person that she is, this brilliant person that she doesn't think that she is, she was not able to follow through with making a decision for herself and leaving her husband, her abusive, emotional and physical. Yes, I know it's been 10 years. Stop reminding me that it's been 10 years. Like 10 years ago he hit you isn't an excuse on why he's no longer physically abusive. You've been living in fear for 10 years that he was going to hit you again if you should disobey or confront him or not cater to every whim. So don't tell me that it's not physically abusive. It's a covert physically abusive relationship. Covert meaning he hit you once and you live in fear of it, Crystal. Are you hearing me right now? Are you hearing me? You are in fear of him, which is why you fawn, which is why you freeze, which is why you disassociate, which is why you are fragmented now. So I will go ahead and agree that these noodles, yeah, probably super legit now, but they weren't for the better part of 39 years. You may have had some fragments as a child. I remember Jennifer. I remember Journey. I remember these ones that came up for you. I remember, okay? But you purposely created me, your alter ego, at 13 years old. We weren't fragmented then, remember? We purposely manipulated our parents into thinking we were perfect, right? You programmed me to say what they needed me to hear me say and do what they think that I was doing. And we snuck around and we did our thing, and we lived life as a double-edged sword. We lived life as this two-faced coin, you and me. Okay? Are you listening to me? I really hope you are, Crystal, because you may have fragmented yourself on purpose in response to the trauma that you're experiencing now with your husband. And I'm serious about this. I am serious, which is why I'm having this conversation with myself, because this is what I truly think you're doing. And you can put me back in the retirement home. You can say that I'm knitting socks for my grandchildren. You can ignore me all you want. But you know I'm not dead. You know I'm going to resurface. You know this doubt is going to keep coming back and back and back and back because you know the truth. And I know that's why you're seeking professional help. And I know that's why you are struggling to sleep at night. And I know that's why you are disassociating more so than ever, is because you want this version of your story to be true, that your childhood was so bad and that's why you are fragmented and now you are unable to cope. And look honey, now you can accept me and all my noodles because why? You think he will? You think he will accept you and all your noodles because now you're finally being honest with him? It's a very interesting game you're playing with yourself right now. It's a very interesting tactic you're using to gain his sympathy and win his love. But recognize what you're doing. You're avoiding the bigger topic. You're avoiding the topic of leaving him. It is what you wanted to do. The majority of you and your noodles wanted to. And yet you also had this trauma bonding experience that kept on reoccurring, where you just couldn't bring yourself to do it. I recognize that. And I recognize that because I've been attached to you for a very long time. We know what you're doing. So, I don't like this feeling of I can't think of the word. What's the word? Mutiny? That's a good word. The mutiny that you have between you and yourself and you, and the tyranny that you think that I have against you, yourself, and you. And then you've got the noodles in the back seat of the car who really are just a part of you that you are unwilling to acknowledge. So whether you're the yellow noodle or crystal or the mint noodle or the whatever, you're just not willing to own all of you. You're not willing to own all of you. Then that really is what it comes down to. You need to own all of you. It makes it hard to deal with all of you if you have to own all of you. I get it, but that's exactly what you got to do. You are all of you. You are, and I am you, and you are me, and we are all of this. So even this little game that we're playing right here, this is all figment of your imagination also. But I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. All right. So this was long, and this was enough. And I don't even think you're going to want to show this. This does not work within your plan of how you want your YouTube channel to go. I know that. But if you do want to watch the next video, the next video I wanted to talk about real quick, I'll just give a quick intro. The next video is the confession that I did. I did the video to Dad's sister, our dad's sister, aunt, whatever that little silly thing was that we did. But she could tell something was up, and we gave it to her straight, the way we understood it, and we explained to her that Crystal is doing a synthetic form of d.i.d. Synthetic. We used the word synthetic. And here's the thing. Whether Crystal was fronting or I was fronting, or she was using me, or she's behind the mask, or I'm just off to the side, or maybe we're all just the same person. That's probably the truth. We definitely owned it. We owned our synthetic d.i.d. that we created. That I created, that she created, that we created. Me and Crystal and Kathy, we created the synthetic d.i.d. And so I want you to watch how we explain to the aunt, I think that's interesting that we can't seem to settle on one. And we felt good about it. It felt honest, okay? But then what happened next was really interesting. Kathy, me, gets tucked away. Yellow noodle, Crystal, goes blank, and orange noodle is now the host. And orange noodle acknowledges all the other noodles, where yellow has a hard time acknowledging. Kathy won't participate in this silly game. This is just silly. So yeah, Orange Noodle is the only one left to really participate. And of course we try to come in and spread little messages of, come on, let's get out of this. This is silliness. Why are you doing this? And they call it denial, and they call it normal. You're supposed to be like this. This is normal. You're supposed to have doubt. That's normal. You're supposed to have denial. That's normal. It's like, well, maybe I'm telling you to deny your noodles because you aren't owning yourself. Own yourself, Crystal. Own it. Own who you are. Own all of your stuff. Own it all the way. And maybe that's what integration is and fusion is and all that stuff, is when someone can finally get to the point that they say, wow, you mean I'm not a bunch of different people in my head? You mean they're all of me? Wow, what a concept. Mind blown. Okay, I own all of it. If that's what fusion is, it's great. And I know she's got her own theory. She thinks of it as something completely different. But that's where me and Crystal parted ways. Where Crystal is now allowing Orange to host, and she's kind of in this, I don't know what I'm doing. I think I'm doing it wrong. I think I'm doing it wrong. She's so confused about what she's doing. At the same time, she continues down that road. At the same time, she continues to allow these little altars and noodles to take charge. So anyways, go ahead and watch the next video. The next video is To the Aunt and To the Ant about synthetic d.i.d. And this is what's really interesting about the whole thing. Is that was the last time we were out. That was the last time we were really honest with ourselves about what we were doing. Everything after that has been a figment of our imagination. And Crystal's going to be pissed at me for saying all this, but I also think it needs to be said in case it should ever come up in the future and somebody wonders what the heck happened to Crystal. This is what happened. Crystal went a little crazy. Crystal went a little too much. Crystal was abused for a little too long, and she would not get herself out of her own damn situation. And did I try to? Yes, of course I did. But I was only programmed to do what everybody else wanted me to do. So she never took charge, and when she did take charge, she went down the crazy route. That's what happened. All right, go and watch this video. I know this video is super long. It's going to probably be like over an hour long that we're uploading, and we're going to hide this like crap to everybody because that's not what people want us to show. But we really do need to document this. We need to document it so darn hard because it's that important. It's that important of a possibility that this is really what's going on. And we really need to be honest with ourselves about it at some point. If we're not ready to do that now, Crystal, if we're not ready to do that now, then we probably shouldn't continue. Oh, what sparked all this? You want to know that? Okay. So that was the other topic. We wanted to talk about Kathy. We wanted to talk about our aunt, whatever she is, Dad's sister. And we wanted to talk about Mom. My mom came over. Mom came over tonight. And upon conversation, my mom was finally interested to know what's going on with us. Finally listening just long enough to hear something quite interesting. And what do? We finally explain d.i.d. to her. And it took quite a while for us to get it out of our mouths, but we said it's very much like personality disorder. And in one way, she was very focused in on it. In another way, she was very much flighty and dismissive of it. And we kept trying to hold her attention, and she kept going off. And she's a very self-centered person, but she doesn't mean to be. And she keeps trying, and she keeps coming back, and she's very... And then she talks about her things, and then she talks about her beliefs, and she talks about her law of attraction and her connection to inner source, and how she thinks it's very much like that. So what does Kathy do? Of course, what I do best. I do what I do best, and I agree with her. And I tell her that she's right, and I tell her it's exactly the same thing, and I tell her that my version of whatever we're doing here in this little noodle system world is the same thing as what she's doing. I basically make her feel comfortable about the whole thing. And then, of course, Crystal comes in and says, Mom, this is not the way we're doing it. This is the way we're doing it, and this is why we're doing it, and this is not the way, and it's not exactly the same, but it's still valid. We can still call it the way we want to call it. And it's like, wow, we're disagreeing with our own selves here. Okay, I need to go back to the retirement home. But all the noodles are scared, and they want me to come out and make everybody seem normal to Mom. Let's seem normal to Mom, because Mom's going to reject us, and Mom's not going to validate us, and Mom's going to ignore us, and Mom's going to spread gossip and rumors about us, and Mom's going to betray us. Like, yeah, All those noodles were talking. And I recognize all those noodles because those are all part of Crystal, and I know what Crystal's scared of, and I know what Crystal's fearful of, and I know what she wants me to do. I know what she wants me to program. So she wants me to do all this, and then she turns around and she speaks her truth and owns what she wants to own. At the end of the conversation with Mom finally leaves, and we're feeling deflated as a Crystal City system. And we recognize that we're not going to go there with it. We still get to be who we are. We still get to speak our truth. Whether Mom wants to validate us or not, we're not going to live by other people's rules. Perfect, Crystal. You're on the right track. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Can we be honest for a second about noodles now? Can we be honest for a second, though? Is that really what this is? Is this really a thing about noodles? Or are you just that brilliant that you can separate it and do a synthetic d.i.d. like you explain in this next video that everybody's going to watch? And then you are willing to at least entertain a video journal of me explaining what I'm thinking. And you ask me to talk about Kathy, Mom, and Dad's sister. And here we are. We talked about all three now, didn't we? Okay, now you can watch Dad's sister's video. And remember, this was synthetic d.i.d. that you were explaining. And it was perfectly explained, perfectly honest, and exactly what you're doing right now. Exactly. I don't want you to forget it. So if you're going to continue doing that this road, if you're going to continue going down this road, please do a favor to all of us and just be honest about it. Okay? Own it. Own all of it. Can you do that? I don't know. All right, that's what we're saying. That's what we're signing off with, and hope you enjoy this next video.